All right, let's start with the big story that we're tracking on WION at this hour. We're on the sidelines of the East Asia Summit. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has met with US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo in Hong Kong earlier today. Now, the meet is especially a significant one, considering that this is the first time that the two foreign ministers are meeting after Donald Trump's statement that he was asked by Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India to mediate on the Kashmir issue. All right, now for more on this, we're joined in by my colleague Siddhant Sibal, who's joining us live from New Delhi. Good morning to you, Siddhant. Now, this of course, was a meeting, an important meeting between the two foreign ministers. And considering what has been stated by Donald Trump, where he claims that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had asked the US president to mediate over the Kashmir issue of something that has been refuted by India in no uncertain terms. Give us a sense of what has transpired in this meeting between the two foreign ministers.
Well, Mohammed, the meet has just begun in Bangkok, where the External Affairs Minister and US Secretary of State both are present for the ASEAN Plus meetings, including the ASEAN and other foreign ministers meeting. Approximately 13 foreign ministers of the region are present in Bangkok, and this was an occasion for all the foreign ministers to meet with each other. And this was an expected meet. WION was the first channel to break the story 2 days ago that this meeting is going to take place, and this meeting is taking place in the backdrop of US President Donald Trump's comments on Kashmir. He has again raked up Kashmir approximately 10 days after the first time he raked up while sitting next to the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan. And this is something that New Delhi is not going to take in a positive manner. New Delhi, of course, is expected to get irked as the day progresses. But we know the last time when the US President raked up Kashmir, Indian External Affairs Minister spoke in the Parliament.
Right.
And categorically told the Parliament that there was no suggestion of mediation by the Indian Prime Minister. And when it comes to India and Pakistan, the relationship are governed by the Shimla and the Lahore Agreement, which clearly states that both the countries will bilaterally resolve their issues. In fact, when the US President first made those comments in the White House, the State Department contradicted him. In a tweet, the State Department said that this is a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan, and US can only assist. Today, though he has raked up the Kashmir issue again, but there's a dilution. He has said that it's up to Prime Minister Narendra Modi to accept his offer of mediation, something that the Indian side will never accept, given the fact that the long-standing policy of New Delhi has been that when it comes to Islamabad and New Delhi, both will resolve their issues, all bilateral issues, in a manner which makes sure that there is no third-party mediation.
Absolutely, indeed, Siddhant. We'll dwell over it just a bit. Do stay on with us, because the US President has, in fact, once again, remember, offered to mediate talks over the Kashmir issue between India and Pakistan. Now, Trump's comments have come hours before the meeting between the Indian Foreign Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Now, this meeting has begun on the sidelines of the 9th East Asia Summit Foreign Ministers meet. Now, Trump has stated that it is now up to the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to in fact accept the offer of mediation. He said that he could certainly intervene in the talks over Kashmir if both India and Pakistan wanted him to listen in to what Donald Trump said earlier today.
It's really up to Prime Minister Modi, and I met with Prime Minister Khan. I got along great with, I think they're fantastic people. Khan and Modi, I mean, I would imagine they can get along very well. But if they wanted somebody to intervene or to help them, and I spoke with Pakistan about that, and I spoke frankly to India about it, but that's been going on, that battle, for a long time. But if somebody, if I can, if they wanted me to, I would certainly intervene.
All right, so that was the statement that was made by President Donald Trump just a few hours ago. Remember, he had in fact first spoken about this issue a week ago. He had mentioned the Kashmir issue in his joint media appearance with Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan, who was in the United States about 2 weeks ago. Trump had stunned India by saying that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had sought mediation from him on the Kashmir issue. During the meeting with the Pakistani Prime Minister, Donald Trump claimed to have met Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the G20 summit in Osaka, where he claimed that it was Prime Minister Narendra Modi who had asked him to mediate. And if I can get my colleague Siddhant Sibil to weigh in on this. Now, Siddhant, this has not happened in a one-off case. It's happened again. It's happened today. So there is a deliberate strategy that Donald Trump is here pursuing. You know, his own administration officials may not completely be on page with him, but there is a particular design that Donald Trump wants to push forth by his repeated offers to mediate over Kashmir.
Well, he is the deal-making president and he has a tendency to barter in any relationship, whether it's global affairs and in India's case, it seems that he is keen for some barter and that is why he has been raking Kashmir. This is the second time he has raked up Kashmir. But when it comes to Kashmir, New Delhi is quite sensitive and there is expected to be a backlash from the Indian side, because last time also there was a strong backlash with the External Affairs Minister speaking in the Parliament. We do expect some kind of a strong response by New Delhi, whether it's publicly or whether it's off record, but something will of course happen. And this is happening at a time when there is the meeting happening between External Affairs Minister and US Secretary of State. This is the first high-level engagement after the comments by the US President 10 days ago. But again, the US President has raked up Kashmir. So it is expected to irk New Delhi, and New Delhi is expected to strongly respond to it, because when it comes to national sovereignty, territorial integrity, right, New Delhi is quite touchy about the issue.
Absolutely, and also considering, you know, the kind of differences Donald Trump has with members of his own administration, the earlier Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, was not on the same page with Donald Trump on many of the issues. At this point of time, do we have any indicators at all, as S. Jaishankar is meeting with Mike Pompeo, the present Secretary of State? You know, is Mike Pompeo on the same page with Donald Trump over the Kashmir issue?
Well, if you look at his department, the State Department statement after the U.S. President's comments, it looks like a complete contradiction, because the U.S. State Department clearly said it's a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan, and U.S. can only assist when it comes to any resolution of issue between India and Pakistan, not mediate. So clearly there is divergence, but this is an important meeting, and it's just not Kashmir comments by U.S. President that's going to be discussed. There are other issues as well, contentious issues such as trade, but issues of convergences as well. Indo-Pacific is something that both the ministers will be talking about, because remember, this meeting which is happening in Bangkok, if you look at the statements made by External Affairs Minister as well as the US Secretary of State, the focus is on Indo-Pacific. New Delhi and Washington consider themselves as the bookends of this concept, and with the outlook which has been released by ASEAN countries, it has been taken positively by both the capitals, and both the sides are and will be given to understand. We are given to understand that both the sides will be discussing this issue as well. But very important meeting which is taking place right now in Bangkok, and this could be a precursor to the meeting between the US President Donald Trump and the Indian Prime Minister, perhaps in France when the G20 summit takes place. The Indian Prime Minister has been invited for the G20 summit, which will take place by the end of this month. And if that meeting doesn't happen, then of course we do expect a meeting between the US President and the Indian Prime Minister on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly, because we know that the Indian Prime Minister will be going to United States for a lot of events, but also to make his second statement at the UNGA. First, of course, he made in 2014 after he was elected for the first time as the Prime Minister of India.
Absolutely, indeed. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Siddhant Sibil, for joining us and getting us the